as a final remark, what sort of advices would you give to new investors?
Well, I'll give an advice that really is based on preventing errors and mistakes. The first one that I would give is educate yourselves. Think about it. You're in college right now. You're getting a bachelor's or a master's. I don't even know. Sorry, but you're getting education to work on something to make money. In a job and to be a professional and to get a profession, so to speak. And you recognize that you have to educate yourself to do that. And on your job, perhaps you're going to make 25, if you work in Portugal, 25 grand a year, 30 grand, right? And then what surprises me the most is that people make investments and say 100K, 200K, whatever, a million euro investments without educating themselves. And that's just, it just doesn't fit my vision of the world. I don't know why people do that. It's so irrational. So the first advice that I can give to people is educate yourselves. Read my book or whatever book you find. It doesn't have to be mine. Just read as much as possible about real estate investing. Know what you're doing. Know that typically it requires renovating the places. It requires talking to contractors and developers, and leasing things out involves talking to the tenants and knowing about leasing contracts and all that. And people, I see so many people going into real estate investments without any clue of all this. So the first advice has to be educate yourselves, really, and spend a good time educating yourself, like you spend at university, educating yourself to do a job, to have a job for the next 40 years, right? So why not, if you look at real estate investing in the long term, which is going to be my second advice, you have to educate yourself. And if you do it for 40 years, even if you do it for 10 years, educating yourself really pays off. The second thing is look at the real estate market long term. If you're not looking to the real estate market with a minimum of, say, 10-year horizon, forget about it. Just forget about it. There's better vehicles out there. Just, look to the stock market, look at, other vehicles. I don't care. But the real estate market is really based on the long term. And if you don't want to look at it in the long term, if you don't have this long-term perspective, or if you're just trying to make a quick buck, just go anywhere else. The real estate market is not for you. And many people do not know this. They think that, I can do this for 5 years and get out of it. And they forget that real estate market is a relational market rather than a transactional market. So it's all about building up relationships and, with tenants, realtors, sellers, the banks. This doesn't happen in the stock market. You invest in companies you don't know anything about in terms of people, of course. You know the fundamentals of the company, you know all that, but you don't know the people working at the company, and you don't need to. It's a transactional market. The real estate market is a relational one. So if you're not looking to the real estate market in the long term, and if you're not educating yourself, I would say the real estate market, even though it is just great and it just gave me the best life I can possibly imagine, I owe everything to real estate, really. It's not for you. If you're not following these two pieces of advice, then forget about it. That would be my personal advice based on my personal history. It doesn't have to be like this. You may have other people talking about real estate in your podcast, and they may tell you very different things, but this is my own experience and my own opinion based on what I lived in real estate.